Welcome back, everybody, again to Little Rhody Sports Talk. I think this is podcast number 16. This week, obviously, the NFL draft just happened, so we're gonna go into some NFL draft for a couple episodes, and then do some offseason predictions in another episode this week. So that'll be 16, 17, and 18. If you guys enjoy, let us know. But the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to hop right into our sponsor. Obviously, you guys know our sponsor by now. It's Anthony's Jewelers. As you guys can see right here, the link is up here. Phone number right in the middle of the screen. You guys know what to do if you want to call. If not, you can go right down to the bottom right part of the screen, go right to a book appointment, and you could pick whatever you want, whatever specific category you go to. It's very easy. You just put your name, email, phone number in. You can get in right away. So yep, we're just going to hop right into the first round here. We're only going to just do the important picks, just kind of put our opinions out there, see if it makes sense. But I'm going to let Kyle take it away for the first couple picks, get his opinions out there.
Well, thank you very much, Aaron. It's great to be back here. Been busy the past few weeks, but let's hop right into this. So, in my opinion, the biggest ones that stood out, obviously Trevor Lawrence, because the quarterback situation and the entire team situation down in Jacksonville. Huge mess. There's a reason why they went 1-15. Same with Zach Wilson, the Jets. There's a reason why they went 2-14 last year. But two of the biggest ones that we should be focusing on, Mac Jones going to the Patriots and Kwity Paye going to the Colts, especially the Rhode Islander. Got to give a big shout out to him. Especially seeing Kwity Paye play at Hendricken. The man was a beast. And to see that he was able to transition from running back on the high school team, go to Michigan and completely transform his position to go to defensive end and now be that main position on the Colts, truly remarkable. I don't think it gets enough attention, as well as another player I believe who went to a good team and was the right fit, Najee Harris going to the Steelers because they desperately need a running back now that James Conner is not there.
Yeah, I agree with you on all those picks. I'm a big I'm a big wide receiver guy when it comes to NFL. So obviously, you hit on all the points with Kwity Paye, Mac Jones, type picks, but I'm a big receiver guy. I I think the biggest loser of the first round it's weird for me to say, but I think the biggest loser in the first round, after me just saying that the receivers are big for me, is the Bengals, because the Bengals had the opportunity to take Penei Sewell, who is a generational tackle. And I mean, if anybody saw Joe Burrow play quarterback last year for the Bengals, he was running for his life every pass play. So for them to go get Jamar Chase, yes, that makes your offense exciting. And I know they did go out and draft a tackle in the second round. I completely understand. But this didn't fully make sense when there's so many receivers in this year's draft. They could have went out and gotten a nice slot guy because they already have Tyler Boyd and they already have T. Higgins. So that's just me. Another pick I really like is actually down at the end of the first round over here. I really like the pick. Oh, here comes the notifications again. Rashad Bateman. I think he's the most underrated receiver in the draft. I know he is going to Baltimore. Don't get me wrong, Baltimore's not the best throwing offense, but technically Lamar Jackson didn't have any type of number 2 receiver last year. So the fact that they went out and got Rashad Bateman, they drafted another receiver I think as well from Oklahoma State. He's a stud. We're getting 9,000 notifications right now. We'll just ignore that. But the fact that now the Lamar Jackson becomes more than just a dual threat, he's obviously going to run the ball, but the fact that now he has 3 good receivers plus Mark Andrews and the second year J.K. Dobbins, that's a very exciting pick, I think. And then just to add a third one, oh, look at that, another one. Just to add a third exciting pick, I really, really like this pick for our Cardinals. This is Zaven Collins kid. I really thought he was going to go to New England, but obviously Mac Jones fell to 15, so I can't complain there. But I mean, they hit it right in the ball if you look at the pick analysis. Collins is a chameleon at the position, versatile. That's what the NFL is turning into. If you play defensive end, you probably play linebacker. You probably play linebacker, you probably play defensive end. It's just kind of how it is. You kind of just need athleticism. You need to be able to cover a tight end. Also need to, blitz and be going up the middle or on the outside. But those my surprises. But now we'll go into Kyle. I want to ask you this. Who do you think was the worst picks in the first 2 rounds? Because I mean, the first 2 rounds are your main picks. Those are gonna be guys that help your team almost right away. So, who do you think is a loser so far? A team loser through the first couple rounds?
I would have to agree with you with Jamar Chase. Because here's the thing, though. If you have a generational QB like Joe Burrow and he's continually getting injured because of lack of offensive line support, what's the point of drafting the receiver if you're going to have the backup who can't really throw as accurate, as well, and as far as Joe Burrow? So this could potentially be to get more picks later in the future. We don't really know until we see the Bengals act on it. But right now, I don't think getting Jamar Chase for the Bengals was the best idea. And another one that kind of had me a little iffy on where they were trying to go with this, especially because we heard rumors about Jimmy Garoppolo potentially being traded. Trey Lance, because we don't truly know where Jimmy Garoppolo is going. It's just a weird situation. Like we heard for a little bit of time that the Patriots were trying to do something to where he could come back to us. So if that was possible, then it would make sense to bring in Trey Lance.
Mm,
But Jimmy G, unless for some reason he gets injured again somehow. Jimmy G's is only 29. I would say he has about a good another 5 years. So if they do maximize Jimmy G for those 5 years, that means Trey Lance is going to be on the bench for another 5 years,
yeah,
just sitting there.
I think I think that puts him definitely in like a neutral role because I think Trey Lance has a lot of like upside, but at the same time, similar to Carson Wentz, he was a Division II quarterback who dominated, who was clearly too good for Division II, but for Division I purposes, we don't really know because that's top tier talent, and then we don't know how he's going to transfer to like the NFL talent. So I definitely agree. There's a lot of question marks with that pick. I would say my first loser of the draft. Now it's weird because this team's a winner and a loser.
I actually did have one more before you do continue. Justin Fields, I think, was a loser too for the Chicago Bears. Reason is because they already have Andy Dalton and Nick Foles.
Yeah,
He's a third stringer now. So what are they going to do with Andy Dalton and Nick Foles? Reminder: Nick Foles is a Super Bowl champion and an Super Bowl MVP. I personally think Nick Foles should be starting over Andy Dalton, especially because Andy Dalton's been a little shaky these last few years. But Justin Fields is going to be sitting there for a really long time unless somehow both of them find a way to leave and he gets up to the number one spot.
yeah. So I think the Bears and 49ers set themselves up nicely for the future. I think it's weird because I think the 49ers are so used to like with Jimmy G, they saw him just continuously be hurt, which sucks, because Jimmy G is kind of a guy that has talent, plenty of talent. We've seen it. He went to the Super Bowl with that team. So, but he's a guy who's gotten a bunch of ankle injuries and he's just not been on the field. So sometimes the best ability is availability. So that's why the 49ers went out and got talent. And same thing with the Bears. They went out and got Andy Dalton for a year because they thought, oh, bridge quarterback we'll look at next year. They didn't think Justin Fields was going to drop there. So they were like, screw it. We're going to go up, get this guy. This is our future. But right now they're investing about, I think like 15, $20 million into Andy Dalton and Nick Foles total right now. So it's like you can't not use one of those guys to start the year because you invested so much money. So from a GM's perspective, you can't do that. But I definitely think that those are two neutral picks. I want to put them in the negative because I think it's good for their future. But I think the one team that was a winner but also loser is the Jaguars because Travis Etienne, great talent, don't get me wrong, and he probably will be the starting running back at some point. But when you have James Robinson, undrafted, cheap running back, who just went out and got you a bunch of total scrimmage yards last year and was really good with your team, to go out and draft Etienne was kind of like a mispick because it's like I know they didn't need receiver. If Kyle Pitts is off the board, there's not a lot of tight ends that aren't you're not going to pick at this pick. But for a team like that, I think that they should have went tight end, even if it was a little bit of a you know, or they could have traded back from the pick. So I think that's one. I do think he's gonna be useful, but it's tough to pick the 25th guy and he's gonna be a third down running back. So, and then the second one, where was he at? The second one was Kadarius Toney to the Giants. Now, same thing. I think they had the same mindset of the Bears and the 49ers. I think Sterling Shepard doesn't have too much longer yet. Um, and they just went out and caught Kenny Galladay. So I know that those two are going to be top of the depth chart, and I know Toney is going to be there for the future purpose. But I think it's another reach. Kadarius Toney could have dropped a little bit. Um, and the same thing with the Raiders, Alex Leatherwood. Every draft expert has had Alex Leatherwood going late first round, early second. So I think the Raiders pushed up a little bit for that pick. So that kind of screwed them out of that situation there. But all in all, I think that was pretty good for the first round. I mean, we can go over the second round quick. I don't think there was too many, big picks in the second round. There was some people that fell, but just to start off quick, and then I'll ask you, Kyle. I think the winner is the second round. Javonte Williams, he's going to be the future starting running back for the Broncos. So that's a nice pick. Elijah Moore, another great pick. He fills in for Jameson Crowder at a cheaper rate. And he was really good in college. I think he's very underrated. And that puts Zach Wilson to give 4 good targets or 3 good targets, depending if they keep Jameson Crowder. Christian Barmore went to the Patriots. That's a nice pick. He's the number 1 overall defensive tackle from the draft. They got him in the second round. So that's a nice pickup. I mean, other than that, there wasn't anything too sexy. I think this was a lot of good picks, just kind of good depth picks. Like Chargers got Asante Samuel Jr. in the second round. He was a stud in college. Same thing, Rondale Moore. That's your future number 2 receiver when everybody's retired and stuff like that over there with AJ Green. Christian Kirk's not doing as well. And this is who I thought that the Jaguars should have drafted, Pat Freiermuth. But yeah, there was a bunch of everybody had a good second round. Maybe the Buccaneers getting Kyle Trask pretty early. That was a little bit of a loss, but give them the benefit of doubt. But who would you think, Kyle? Who would you think in the second round puts you over the top? Like, got first round talent?
I would probably say Asante Samuel Jr. And because the AFC West is such an odd division, simply because of the Chiefs being so dominant,
Yeah.
and then the other three kind of just battling out, like to see who's better than the other. And one of the major things, aside from Tyrod Taylor getting his lung punctured in the season, is that there's some days where the Chargers look like the number 1 defense in the league. Other days, and I'm talking about specifically the Patriots game, and other games there probably were, but I just can't name them off the top of my head. It looks like the Patriots are having like practice. They look like they're having scrimmage out there.
Yeah.
So I think Asante Samuel Jr. will bring a good presence to covering the wide receivers well, forcing interceptions and breakups on deep balls, and crosses over the middle. Who else would I say? Another big thing, Josh Myers, center, who's going to be for the Green Bay Packers. Biggest issue for them was getting that line help. It was just very unfortunate to see the Packers go out the way they did because of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had to be basically Superman throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
He was basically doing about everything that he could, and nobody was helping him. That the offensive line was basically traffic cones. The defense was running right around them to get to him. I'm shocked Aaron Rodgers did not get injured at all last year. He should be very lucky.
Mm-hmm. Same thing. You can say the same thing as well for Patrick Mahomes. Everybody saw how the Super Bowl went. Very lucky that he got out of that with no serious injury. But yeah, I think obviously after like the third round, mid of the third round, you kind of just you're picking your depth options, some guys with some talent that maybe just dropped. My favorite pick in the second round, and this sounds a little biased because I'm a Notre Dame fan, but Jeremiah Owusu. I mean, this guy was one of the best linebackers in college football last year, and he dropped all the way to 52 to the Browns, who already have a really good defense. Do people forget that they, went out and got Jadeveon Clowney on top of the fact that they already have Garrett? And then you add Jeremiah Owusu. Like, you can't be letting teams like this drop players like this drop this far to teams like this. You're just creating the Browns are getting better and better every single year. Um, Another one, like I said, Pat Framuth, Steelers. Eric Ebron's only got one more year left on his deal, so that's a guy that's going to potentially step into a starting role next year, or even as start as this year. Eric Ebron's no, clear number one tight end anymore. So, Terrace Marshall Jr. He's gonna be a nice little fill in as well because Curtis Samuel left this offseason from Carolina. So, like I said, I think the only loser in the second round is the Bucks. Kyle Trask, I think, was a little bit of a push up. You could have probably gotten him in the third or fourth round. And I think in the Buccaneers' purpose, they really didn't need to go quarterback. They should have been drafting guys just for best overall. So, but yeah, I think the overall winner of this draft so far, of the first couple rounds, is definitely the Patriots are one for sure. Jaguars definitely picked some talent. They reached a little bit on ETN. But he's gonna be very good for the team. They're gonna be upcoming, especially if Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent. But yeah, I think that the Patriots are definitely one of the best teams. Not saying that biasly as well. They went out and had two very nice picks for the future. And then I'd say the one loser in this draft, just because I'm not a big fan of him, is the Jets. I'm not a big Zach Wilson guy. I think that he's going to be another guy who's like Mark Sanchez, kind of had similar stats in how he played at USC. So I think the Jets made a big mistake just not getting Justin Fields with the second pick. So that's just my opinion though. But who would you think would be a winner or loser for the last question for this video?
I would definitely say the Patriots, also because of their offseason signing. So that plus what they were able to do during the draft can only elevate some. I'd say the Miami Dolphins moved up a little bit, like on like the goodness scale. Like I think they can be a playoff team next year, especially because now they have Jalen Waddle, and now they're gonna have a fully rested and healthy Tua.
Yeah.
So I would expect a lot of targets between them. Um, it's interesting. I like the Arizona Cardinals with Rondale Moore, especially because now you have three big targets, especially if you get Rondale Moore going with
Mm-hmm.
all. I really can't wait to watch Arizona. Defense is the only thing that kind of has me like scratching my head. We'll have to wait and see that. I expect the Chiefs to still do the same with, especially with at linebacker, because
Yeah.
let's face it, they got torched during the Super Bowl. I think if Nick Bowen was there at least to help them, it would have been like a more fighting chance for them,
Yeah.
put them in a better situation. But yeah, I expect things to go about the same as they did last season. We'll probably see like a few like wild card teams maybe surprise us a little bit, but it's going to take a few years to see like the bottom teams make their way up. This isn't going to happen overnight.
Yeah. And I would just like to add one more draft winner, just off one pick. Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons going to the Cowboys to replace, because Sean Lee retired I think 2 years ago or last year.
Yeah.
So they had a big hole there. That Vander Esch dude's not doing as well from the draft pick that they got from a couple years ago as well. They do have Jalen Smith there, but he's had his injury share. So we're hoping, the Cowboys are hoping that Micah Parsons can come in and finally fill that hole of a linebacker, because Sean Lee did it for so long, and that Cowboys defense was always above average. So they need a new signal play caller. Micah Parsons has the ability to come in and be an every down backer. So that's my last thoughts. But like I was saying early on in the video, if you guys haven't saw in the beginning, hope you guys see it at the end. Anthony's Jewelers is our sponsor. We want you guys to go here. You guys do your thing. There's so many options between jewelry, wedding stuff, engagement stuff. So easy to book appointments as well, like we were talking about. 6 options you can go through. Like I said, you just put your name and email in, and you're all set. So I hope you guys enjoyed our video. This was part 1 of the first couple. We're going to do another 2 more NFL YouTube videos after this. But yeah, this was just our draft overview and who we liked. In the second video, we're going to do talking about the quarterbacks mainly, and maybe the 49ers, a little Aaron Rodgers talk as well. So hope you guys enjoyed. Like you said, we want you to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We post on YouTube, Facebook. We have the Apple Podcast as well, Spotify. We put all our voice and audio onto there. Our Instagram and our TikTok is the same thing as our YouTube page, Little Rhody Sports Talk. We post a bunch of content on there as well. So hope you guys enjoy. I'm Aaron. That's Kyle. And we'll see you guys in the next couple videos.
See you guys.